reaching, heartbeat screaming, swear I'm dreaming, can you hear me? Oh, access to Eden so damn expensive. Yeah, pesticide free, no GMOs, can't eat that sugar, new versions cost more. Eat me, they sold 2 versions of pain, or play with your patrols. I prayed to a fish once. Stop saying I'm not soul searching, not learning. I lay awake, toss and turning over a fucking fish. Okay, I'll stop. Get back to the bop. These ops, they taking shots. None of my elixirs, just mixtures, poison here. Take a bitter. Outside of Eden, I walk with God. Can you say the same for you? Did your ghost challenge your views? Did your body split in two? Did you yin, light rain or dark rain, which you choose? Do you still watch news? Is anyone real or am I just a part of you? You fuck with Dr. Seuss. Am I speaking to my news? Cause every time I say shit, it rips out this old man's screws. I was the golden goose, but nobody can see the colors once inside your suit. Fucking hate. I hate to fucking hate. It's one of my least favorite things up on my plate. Yeah, I don't need for days. Then bitch, at least today. Can you keep up with me or should it make no play? Yeah, damn. Time doesn't matter. Prove me wrong and touch it. Promise when you do this, you'll be fucked just like me. Trust this. You don't wanna know the ending. It's so condescending. Wait for God's real son to do that. Knock the apple at him. How ironic is this? Millions of this is coming and miss when you lose sight of your switch from this bed. You know who you are, stop playing the kid. It's time to wake up, you've been given a gift. You're gonna sit here and give it to this. Your hate only fuels me. Satan and Jesus will guide me. I ate the apple, puked on the seed. 666, count the seed of life. I know you knew this deep inside your mind. Yeah. Kingdoms crashing, cosmos clashing, what's inside your eyes? Bear with me for just a second of time, yeah. Only taking light, what's the other side inside of your mind? Oh, can you see it? Oh, can you feel it? I've been there low, this is no troll. Take it or leave it, it's info, no toll. No sneaky contracts behind cheapy wool. No contracts here. Cannibal sheep ate a wolf on my own. This is for you, I only view this in exchange for your billions, my truth. Clown every day, but my vision stays true. Laid on the table, my Bible of new. I take the pieces, make puzzles and clues. I pray to Jesus, his brothers improve. Apollo, now Tesla, Elvis, New Year, Tesla, a tip from Muhammad. These prophets above us, they don't fucking judge us until you age walk like Enoch. Could you please just shut up? Could you please just shut up? Oh, Cyrus, please, can you meme with me? Oh, Cyrus, please, can you meme with me? Old school Iris. Oh, Cyrus, please, can you meme with me? Oh, Cyrus, please, can you? Puzzle hard, each corridor lands brand new doors. Puzzle hard, these tattered scars on top my arms. Puzzle hard, do you fit inside my pieces? Am I reaching? Heartbeat screaming, swear I'm dreaming. Can you hear me? Oh, access to Eden so damn inexpensive. Yeah. Since I breathe, no GMOs. Can't eat that sugar, new versions cost more. You need a soul to purchase that pain, or but you're for trolls. Enough of a meme. I prayed to a fish once. Stop saying I'm not. Just stand. I'm on my own. I know that you're gonna go. I feel so cold. I am stuck here all alone. I'm on my own. I know that you're gonna go. I feel so cold. I am stuck here all alone. Just stand. I'm on my own. I know that you're gonna go. I feel so cold. I am stuck here all alone. I'm on my own. I know that you're gonna go. I feel so cold. I am stuck here all alone. just stand. I'm on my own. I know that you're gonna go. I feel so cold. I am stuck here all alone. I'm on my own. I know that you're gonna go. I feel so cold. I am stuck here all alone. I'm on my own. I know that you're gonna go. I feel so cold. I am stuck here all alone. By myself I roam. Who can I go and call? How do I let you know? I wish that I could show. I'm fighting, crying, am I dying? I don't understand, I'm trying. Dreaming in my head, I'm flying. Happy as can be, I'm lying. I've lied again. I can't go and oh, please just stand. I'm on my own. I know that you're gonna go. I feel so cold. I am stuck here all alone. I'm on my own. I know that you're gonna go. I feel so cold. I am stuck here all alone. I'm on my own. I know that you're gonna go. I feel so cold. I am stuck here all alone. By myself I roam. Who can I go and call? How do I let you know? I wish that I could show. I'm fighting, crying, am I dying? I don't understand, I'm trying. Dreaming in my head, I'm flying. Happy as can be, I'm lying. I've lied again. I can't go and oh, please just stand. I'm on my own. I know that you're gonna go. I feel so cold. I am stuck here all alone. I'm on my own. I know that you're gonna go. I feel so cold. I am stuck here all alone. are my none, but whatever you thinking won't stop this superstar. This world is mine, so here like stupid groupie broad. Magnum extra large, but ooh, I'd rather do it raw. These guys so rapping, it's sassy bastards really turn me on. I'm gonna stick it to them, man, my disc is getting hard. I'm falling, I'ma prove it while I do it like it's my job. As I stick my stick up in this beers to get it off. While I'm tickling it, I'm sticking it in sauce. Trickle like I'm pickling, it's possible I'm fluff. Then my disc gets quick to source the brick and give it to them rough. I'm thinking twisted, son of a bitch, no disrespect them all, but she gave birth to a kid way worse than I'm a Bin Laden, a Saddam. Consistent, I'm a sadistic killer, ready to unibomb. Yeah, this one's static, to bring it on. Hate me, but I ain't stopping till I'm on top. I'm screaming across the road like Tupac. Say my name and you might get shot. It's not lies till I drop. When the guns go off, they pop. We live in body, I live in try. If you talk, you better learn to walk the walk. Cause it's not lies till I drop. I spew hate in every direction I spit. I'm tearing down everything you built. I already found my message. Just say, let me stop me, this is it. I can hear my voice, but everyone knows I'm on fight. It's the reason why this white can't buy this. There's no more right there, it's not just poem. Better go home retired with this moment, cause it's already too late to stop behind it. It hurts when I rip this mic up, stop you upside, call you mad. If you can't believe it, better stand outside. You ain't never gonna have no family, can't both you and your boyfriend in bed. Power beats, I'm just a touch of my pen. I could've smacked you hard, but I had to. Should move this song instead, like a sad story of a snitch. We all know best friends. I almost over the cuckoo's nest. I had to get it off my chest. You tried to push me off the edge, but I got 9 lives, told me I ain't dead. Hate me, but I ain't stopping till I'm on top. I'm screaming across the road like Tupac. Say my name and you might get shot. It's not lies till I drop. When the guns go off, they pop. We leave your body out like they try. If you talk, you better learn to walk the walk. Cause it's not lies till I drop.
They come escante, vagante. Okay, I'm reloaded. 6 like the drum spray. Then I play got me loaded. Can't just stand and ovate. Clap till you're up and over. Daddy bring the heat out. Somebody leave the oven open. Who you getting? We be hotter than a sunbay. Take off force to fly. I don't even need a runway. Lungs full of kush. I be steaming in my lungs. Gotta get paid now, someday. Fly to the job. Spoon full of H. Stay with more choppers in them H. True color dudes like do what it do. Low five for the loot. Ain't no telling what I do. Cock him and shoot. Ain't you? I see you. No, I see you. And no one to save you. I be all about the paper. Begging up the paper. On my barbershop. She didn't break a table. Hate me, but I ain't stopping till I'm on top. I'm screaming across the road like Tupac. Say my name and you might get shot. It's not lies till I drop. When the guns go off, they pop. We leave your body out like they try. If you talk, you better learn to walk the walk. Cause it's not lies till I drop.
You can love me or hate me, I don't give a fuck what you trying to date me. Either way you are my none, but whatever you thinking won't stop this superstar. This world is mine, so here like stupid groupie broad. Magnum extra large, but ooh, I'd rather do it raw. These guys so rapping, it's sassy bastards really turn me on. I'm gonna stick it to them, man, my disc is getting hard. I'm falling, I'ma prove it while I do it like it's my job. As I stick my stick up in this beers to get it off. While I'm tickling it, I'm sticking it in sauce. Trickle like I'm
up and open. Daddy bring the heat out. Somebody leave the oven open. Do you getting? We be hot out in the sun, babe. Take off force to fly. I don't even need a runway. Lungs full of kush. I be steaming in my lungs. Gotta get paid now, someday. Fly to the job. Spoon full of H. Stay with more choppers in them H. True color dudes like do what it do. Low five for the blue. Ain't no telling what I do. Cock him and shoot. Ain't you? I see you. No, I see you. And no one to save you. I be all about the paper. Begging up to Yaper. On my barbershop. See the brick of paper. Hate me, but I ain't stopping till I'm on top. I'm screaming across the road like Tupac. Say my name and you might get shot. It's not till I drop. When the guns go off, they pop. We leave your body out like it's hot. If you talk, you better learn to walk the walk. 'Cause it's not till I drop.
You can love me or hate me, I don't give a what you trying to date me. Either way you on my none, but whatever you thinking won't stop this superstar. This world is mine to hear like stupid groupie broad. You magnum extra large, but who I'd rather do it raw. These rapping targets, sassy bastards really turn me on. I'm gonna stick it to them, man, my disc is getting hard. I'm falling, I'ma prove it while I do it like it's my job. 'Cause as I stick my stick up in this beers to get it off. While I'm tickling it, I'm sticking it in sauce. Trickle like I'm pickle and it's possible I'm fluff. If I just get quick to source the brick and give it to him rough. I'm thinking quick, the son of a bitch, no disrespect them all. But she gave birth to a kid way worse than Osama Bin Laden or Saddam. Consistent, I'm a sadistic killer ready to unibomb. Yeah, it is one static, to bring it on.
Hate me, but I ain't stopping till I'm on top. I'm screaming across the road like Tupac. Say my name and you might get shot. It's not till I drop. When the guns go off, they pop. We leave your body out like it's hot. If you talk, you better learn to walk the walk. 'Cause it's not till I drop.
I spew hate in every direction I spit. I'm tearing down everything you built. I already found my message. Just say never gonna stop me. This is it. I can hear my voice, but everyone knows I'm on fight. It's the reason why this white can't buy this. There's no more identity. I'm not just pulling back. Go home retired with this mama, 'cause it's already too late to stop behind it. It hurts when I rip this mic up, stop your sign, call you mad. If you can't for the gift, better stay outside. You ain't never gonna have no fame again. Both you and your boyfriend in bed. Down, beat them with just a touch of a pen. I could've smacked your heart, but I left you. Should love this song instead. Like I said, story of a snitch. We are not best friends. I almost flew over the cuckoo's nest. I had to get it off my chest. You tried to push me off the edge, but I got 9 lives, told me I ain't dead.
Hate me, but I ain't stopping till I'm on top. I'm screaming across the road like Tupac. Say my name and you might get shot. It's not till I drop. When the guns go off, they pop. We leave your body out like it's hot. If you talk, you better learn to walk the walk. 'Cause it's not till I drop.
Hi guys, it's time now. Finally, fuck's sake. Fuck. Alright, Shine Podcast, episode 2, with Invictus Diddy. Say hi, Diddy.
Hello everyone,
Yeah.
how are you guys? How are you today?
Yep. I'm pretty good, but how are you?
I'm doing okay, a bit tired. I've had a busy week at work, but I'm here.
Alex Miles probably won't be here. He's not responding, and also he might just join midway. So I don't
That's
know.
no problem.
He was here last time, so I'm sure it's fine. But
Mhm.
yeah. Let's see. I wrote down a few questions just so I didn't forget them because I did have some in mind.
Yep, that's no problem.
The first one is what made you want to participate in Showtime Clash of the Titans? Because obviously you wouldn't just do any old event and a big return like this, but
Um, I'm not sure if it's different things or it was just something I felt in the moment just spontaneously where Tams came to me. It's something that we've been speaking about for a while, but I've been declining because I didn't feel, for the lack of better wording, comfortable returning.
yeah,
I told him I'm done. I've done everything I needed to do. Anything you want me to do, I'll be happy to talk about it, but you'll probably know my answer at the end is going to be no, I don't want to do it. I just simply wasn't comfortable nor motivated to do anything until recently. He suggested that I fought Isaac, and I was like,
yeah,
this is a tough one, but I'm bored. I ain't got nothing to do. I just finished university. Why not? Something fun to do. It looks fun. Yeah.
it does look pretty fun to us. But let's you said you were going to university. Like, do you want to share like what you went there for? Or
So I spent 3 years in university studying illustration for communication. For those that don't know, that is a form of graphics design, but the difference is more you're drawing characters and fan art, but I was mostly drawing album covers and lo-fi art for clients.
damn,
Yeah.
shit. Well, that's interesting. College definitely not easy. I don't
Oh
even go there,
yeah.
and I know it's not easy. High school's not easy for me. What the fuck?
I've
Uh,
always thought that it was never for me, but at the end of the day, I did graduate. I finished. Just trying to find what I want to do next. Problem.
yeah, and obviously in UK it's not the same school system as US, right?
So how it works is high school for you, I believe, is college for us,
Uh,
and college for you is university for us. I believe that's how it works.
Interesting. Uh, how many years did you do university? Was it
It was 3 years.
3 years? Okay.
Yep. So as soon as I left for Roblox Wrestling, I jumped into that.
Chris Apex said hi.
Oh, hello, Chris. Hope you're having a good day.
Yeah. So next question, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Do you plan? Because obviously, I feel like just training for you versus Isaac is good, but maybe you want to do something like you did at CCW or anything. Like you already participated in CCW World Class Champions. Do you plan
Yes.
to participate in any other matches before your December match at Clash of Titans?
It's something that I suppose it depends on my mood and which side of the bed I wake up on, because I initially did not want to, but then Raymondo came to me, and for some odd reason I was just like, fuck it, let's do it. I ain't got nothing to lose. So it's one of those ones where it's like, I can't say no, but I can't say yes. It just really depends on my mood on the day.
Yeah. Is that how it was when you said you could do this?
This one I actually, because I like talking about these things, because it's like nostalgia. I didn't really need to think about it. I was like, yeah, sure. It was just timing, really and truly, because I'm quite busy nowadays.
Yeah. That makes sense. Now, we talked about before, what about after? Do you plan to do anything wrestling related after Clash of Titans? Which is kind of the same thing as, are you going to continue wrestling or do anything about it at Clash of Titans after?
Um, that is a good question. Oh, you got me there. I actually didn't. Again, it's one of those ones, not necessarily my mood, it just depends on the offer and how I feel within the moment. Obviously, if it comes to, I don't know, helping a future prospect or fighting another legend one on one or whatever, and it's a good storyline, or I feel in that moment it is good, why not? I mean, I don't have anything to lose. I've more or less done everything that I've wanted to. So even with this situation, I was a bit stubborn, but at the end of the day, it's just a case of you just want to have fun. So why not? What are you losing?
Yeah, and Isaac is obviously. I want to ask you this because you have been a legend for years in wrestling.
Mm.
However, Isaac is considered a legend, sort of, but he like 20, kind of like a 2020 legend. Like he was only getting good at like one. He got good in like 1 year, and he did all of his stuff. But how do you feel that he's considered a really big name, and you took like years to do that?
Um, Obviously, when I was starting out, money was always a problem, so it took time for me to get to where I was with a shitty setup. I don't know how I did it to this day. Um, in terms of Isaac, I've always said that I've enjoyed looking at people transform into something that I feel as though, for the lack of better wording, they didn't think they would be, I guess. Um, while I was away, and let's say for an example, I said to myself, oh, let's see what's going on in Roblox Wrestling. I will sometimes watch highlights, which is shout out to all the pages that do highlights, including Kiri. I've been watching his events too. It's like entertaining watching all these people fight and seeing where they came from. With Isaac, it was that very thing because I remember, I think it was CJ's Federation or something like that. He was just starting out. He was getting his name there, but it didn't really start until after a bit, and then I started hearing his
You
name,
mean
Ken.
ECW?
Yeah, that's the name of the Fed.
Okay.
Because while I was gone, I used to be in calls with Tams and Ken, and I used to ask these questions: Who's the biggest name right now? What's going on? And I used to hear names like, "Oh, Damon's doing pretty good," or "Justice is doing pretty good," or "Isaac, you know that guy's really good right now. He's been dominating APRW," and I'm like, "Oh, okay. Show me some highlights. What's he done? What kind of a guy is he?" You know, I like to understand these things, and yeah. Sorry, I went on a complete.
Nah,
Yeah,
it's fine.
it just waffled on. But yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that's fine. Um, this one I didn't write down, but I think it's really valid.
Yep,
So
go on.
when you came back, before you came back, actually, people
Hmm.
thought that if you came back, it would be good, but at the same time, the way you left off last time was actually the best you could have been, and it was you winning the UKW title, or no, you retained the UKW title
Hmm.
in against Noah Jackson or the Jester, and it was the final UKW title match, and you ended off your career at the top. And then some people thought it would be good if you returned, and then I've talked to people who are like, it wouldn't be good because of the way you ended, and it would kind of ruin the momentum. I guess I don't know how they described it, but what do you feel about that?
Um, I've been obviously considering what I said earlier with Tams popping up to me every once in a while asking me these things. What you have been told based on your questions that you've asked people, I've felt the same way. I told myself there's not really a reason for me to come back. I've done everything that I've wanted to do, which was chase world titles that I felt as though I liked. Like I look at it and I'll be like, okay, I want that and I'm gonna go get it. And that's what I did. But on the other spectrum, it was like I've done everything that I've wanted to do. What exactly am I losing out on? I've done again, it's like I haven't faced Isaac before, and he's one of those big names. Part of me felt as though I even told myself, "What the fuck am I doing? This guy seems like he's out of my league right now." And I just off rip just told times, you know, fuck it, let's do it. But then deep down, I was like, I'm making the right decision here. but you know, at the end of the day, win or lose, for me, as I've grown, it's just a matter of having fun. That's what it is. And I suppose as you embody that mentality, people that I suppose look up to you or you that you're friends with embody that same thing. Because for a while, pro wrestling has always felt like it's a job when in reality it's meant to be fun. That's the whole point of it. Because I suppose that's where few problems stem from, because people treat it as a job, which I don't blame them. That's what happens when you're passionate about something. I was very passionate. I was in that place, so I understand. But obviously, yeah, it's just a matter of having fun, to be honest. Whether I win or lose, I didn't give two tosses. I'm there to enjoy myself, to be honest.
Yeah. Now.
I hope that answers your question. I completely went on a different tangent.
No, it did.
Okay, fair enough.
And I don't mind if you go on tangents. It's actually quite better, but I'm gonna get more information. But
No worries.
so this isn't really a question, but
Mhm.
I just want to say watch out for Isaac, because after CCW, I'm like, oh my god, it's fucked.
I was watching that match and Tams was messaging me being
You gotta
like,
think about it
we
long
have a
term.
problem.
You gotta think about it long term, bro. It's like Isaac just came back for that match, and Justice trains sort of actively because he's still in the community. And Isaac won like 10-5 or some shit. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, it was a pretty good match. An amazing
It
comeback.
was an amazing match, yeah, but like Isaac did as good as he would in 2020. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah. Not to brag or put myself on the thing, I've faced multiple people over the years that I feel as though, in this current position that I'm in right now, I have to take this guy seriously. He is a threat. It is a problem. I faced TM Punk. Speaking of TM Punk, I didn't think I was going to win that match at RWA. I think Halloween Havoc is the name.
Yeah, the RWA.
I went into that match thinking, oh, I'm going to lose. But because I accepted this match out of respect for the people that came to me, let me just go. Because it was late. I think it was a university night or college night. I don't know. And I was like, can I really be bothered? You know what? I accepted it. Let me keep to my word. And then fast forward late, I won.
Yeah.
I did not expect to win, and I won.
That was great. I know people went wild. I wasn't there fully, but I know people went wild on the GMT side.
Yeah, because it's one of those ones when you observe someone and you study them, and obviously back then I was training every now and then, so it was kind of like I could extend myself in ways where I could match or be the opposite of someone else's fighting style. So, okay, so this person is an aggressor. I need to play defense, catch them out.
Yeah.
This person plays defense. I need to mix it up a little bit, type of thing. So, in terms of Isaac, the biggest mistake that I can make is underestimating him.
Right.
That's pretty much the worst thing you can do, because regardless of how big of a name you are, you should never underestimate your opponent, because it can backfire into your face, and it is a big problem. I am looking forward to our match, to be honest with you. I want to see if we can battle it out, and if he can bring that side out of me that I haven't seen in a couple of years, which I have no doubt that he will, and I'm hoping, to have fun with it.
And that's a big message to everybody who fights in a pro wrestling match. Don't underestimate your opponent. And every time I'm in a
100%.
call and they're about to have a match, I'm like, yo, don't underestimate him. And half the time
100%.
they do, and they lose.
I learned it the hard way, so that's coming from me.
Yeah. So, at overall of your pro wrestling career, like, you've done it all. I mean, you've won many GMT world titles. You won some EST titles. One of the screenshots you sent me, which I didn't put in here, but you won the RCW tag title and all that.
Oh yeah, I remember that day.
Yeah, and then you sent me this really old one, which is like 2013 looking ass with the like the
Vehicle
really
templates.
obviously drawn, the one with Master 76 II and Tob and all that.
Oh yeah, that was me in the middle.
How would you describe your whole pro wrestling career?
So,
like, at just saying the like let's say started wherever you started and the end was UKW Mania. How would you describe it?
okay, so, where do I even start? I originally started where I wasn't attending federations. I was more so attending public games. So the most popular one between the legends, who will probably know what I'm talking about, is SmackDown vs. Raw 2011 by The Flinning, I believe his name
That's
is.
where a lot of people started. Yeah.
Yeah, I started there originally. I've had many gimmicks. I did a Ryback, I did a Cena like everyone else. I did a CM Punk, which was one of my favorites. And what happened was, I personally felt as though federations were too competitive for me. I didn't want to go to federation. I simply wanted to join the game, have everyone. And what happened play against me. If someone ratted me or did whatever, okay, cool. It is now my mission to rat you back. I would do it at the end of the day, and I would be very happy. And people would be intimidated by the fact that I could handle 2v1s or 3v1s, one-shotting everyone. Don't know how I did it to this day, but I don't know. And where it started was Hams came to me, but what it was we didn't start off as friends. I think hate is a strong word, but we weren't friends.
Okay.
But after a while, he invited me to his federation. And I needed something new to happen. I was quite bored at the time. So I think at the time it was UKW. I wasn't looking for a championship. I was just trying to make myself say, okay, throw me your top guys, federation, in this time zone, and I will show you what I can do. So what proceeded to happen was I went on a 25-0 win streak.
Jesus.
And that earned me a mid-card championship. I think that was an internet championship. I had to face, I believe his name, you probably won't know him, but Swaley or Heel Drake or something like that. He's one of the vets in GMT, but he left a while back.
Raimundo told me his name. I forgot what it was. It was Sway, like SWAE.
Yeah, him. I believe I was facing him. And I took the belt off him. I can't remember what the score was. It was so long ago. And this was also when Tams introduced the World Class Championship match. And I qualified for it when I was on my streak. And what happened was, I believe it was UKW Mania 1 or 2. It was 1. It was a 6-man or 8-man match, one of the two. And except for one person, I eliminated everyone else within that match to win my first world title in UKW.
Wow.
And at the time, I became the longest reigning. I can't remember who threw me out so long ago. I think it was 2012, 2013. It was so long ago. I've been knocked out of it. Lost both belts eventually. And then through the years, think the next big mark for me was UKW Mania 2, was me versus Undead Brock. And it was also around the time that I was attending RCC's Federation, RWU.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a big name because I was up and coming, I guess, a mid card transitioning into the high card position. And people were telling me, you know, it would be cool to see Undead versus. And I was like, okay, who is Brock? Did my little research and I was like, okay, this guy sounds very intimidating but very good. Spoke to him briefly, and he's a very cool guy. I enjoyed speaking to him throughout the years. I don't think I've ever had a problem with him. Genuinely a cool guy, very good gimmick, very successful, extremely successful. We fought each other at UKW Mania, which I ended up winning that match. And it kind of shot me up in the sky. I think at the time I was one of the most talked about Roblox wrestlers at the time. And that set up my next match for the next Mania against pro wrestling legend Hub Helms.
Oh, jeez.
And I ended up beating him, I think, 3-0 or 5-0. I can't remember the stipulation. But to fill in the...
Was it for the world title or something?
Nah, it was just a grudge match.
Oh, okay.
So, what happened was through the years, I just ended up... I don't know how I did it or where the motivation came from. I think as a kid, before I matured, I was a very angry kid, so I used my anger as motivation to win matches.
Oh, wow.
If I lost a fall, I ended up... The best way to describe it is I became mentally put myself in the position. It seems cringy now that I think about it, but like Kratos from God of War. I needed to win. I was very like, I lost the fall, I was mad. I was like, okay, cool, I can't do this, I can't fuck up. CCW comes in because I think I've made more success in terms of championship winnings in CCW. I think I'm a... How many times did I win their world title again? One nearly
500 pictures of you with the title. I don't know.
Yeah, so as in the slideshow that I'm looking at now, you would see that I'm holding the CCW World Championship and the World Heavyweight Championship. That was my match against MG Styles, which was 5-4. And I was the few people that ended up winning a double belt, and that was kind of like that. People that didn't know me, they learned that I was a big threat back then, because very few people, I suppose, could win. But then very few people, sorry to backtrack, could win double belts. But that depends on the stipulation and where the federation was at the time. But if you did it, you were seen as successful, I guess. In terms of UKW, I didn't win the UKW World title till my last run before UKW ended. So I was mostly winning the World Class Championship. I think I was a 5-time World Class Champion. One of my favorite matches was against Raymundo. Either Raymundo, it was someone else that I fought as well. But I can't remember, my memory's so poor. But with Raymundo, he was the longest reigning champion at the time, and nobody thought that he would be overthrown. And me being the overrated high carder at the time, because I would lose matches where people would be like, how did you lose? You were supposed to win. Look at you. I ended up beating him, given the fact that he was going through something. I believe he wasn't well at the time, bless him. But I beat him and ended up taking the belt off him. Can't remember how long his reign was. But yeah, I just kept... I don't know what it was. I've won very few mid-card or low-card titles. I've mostly went for world championships. But at the time, I felt as though I could make a name for myself without needing a world title. And in one of my runs where I did really good, I was considered one of the best, if not the best, without holding a world championship. I didn't want one at the time.
Yeah.
I felt as though this doesn't show what I can do. I'm gonna prove to everyone that I can still be at the top without holding their head tight. And I did that at one point. Um, so when it comes to EST federations, that's kind of where my kryptonite is, because I've always struggled fighting where the ping is not in my favor. RWU always won tournaments, but when it came to the final straw, I was close. That's the best way I can put it. I was close.
Damn.
There was one match I was meant to attend the final RWU show, but there was a family emergency that I had to attend to. Meaning I can't remember who replaced me, but they replaced me in the World Heavyweight Championship match. I was a bit upset about it. In terms of people that I guess I've enjoyed but always struggled to beat, one popular name at the time was Eddie Slayer. I don't know what it was, but just fighting him used to irritate me because I couldn't figure him out. It was like, how do you do this? Even no matter how many videos I used to look at, I would always struggle. And he's beaten me, I think, 4, maybe 3 matches, and I've only beaten him in 1.
Oh,
but the difference is some of those were world title matches or qualifiers. Well, yeah, he beat me in a world title match and a qualifier, and I beat him once at VCW to fight DBD for the VCW championship.
Oh shit.
What else? VCW, one of my favorite federations at the time. Shout out to Dewey. I don't know what it was about VCW, but I just liked the vibes there. TNX, I had a little run there, but it was short-lived, mainly because of the time zone problems. Whenever I used to stay up, for me, sleep is very important. So staying up was a big issue. I couldn't focus, I couldn't keep my eyes awake, couldn't concentrate. It was quite difficult for not only myself, but some GMTers. Obviously, some people adapted, props to them. It takes a lot to stay up past midnight to fight competitively.
Right.
TNX, VCW. I did do a run in APRW. It was short-lived, but I enjoyed myself there nonetheless. Where else?
RCW.
I did have a run in RCW. That's another thing I wanted to talk about. Actually, one of my biggest regrets was probably not attending RCW earlier and APRW, because there was a time where I did, and this was before I don't know if I should say it blew up to where it is now, or it was just like oh yeah, RCW's there. I guess this was before the big names started entering, so it was mainly the veterans and the legends that were there.
Yeah.
But my biggest regret was not attending earlier, because I felt as though the vibes there were quite different. It looked like everyone was enjoying themselves. There was real competition, because that's what it was in GMT around back in the day, 2012, 2016, 2017, and a portion of 2018. It was competitive, but it was to the extent where it was fun. Obviously, it has your toxicity every now and then, but you want it to be the best. You want it to be good. You want it to beat people that couldn't be beaten. And holding championships, I guess, had a meaning. If I was holding a title, let's say the Internet Championship, it's a mid-card title. It's not something that I'm proud of, but me being me, I told myself, I'm going to make something out of myself with this run. It's the same with every other person. It's not so much about the title you obtain, it's the reign. And I suppose, to a degree, how you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was ups and downs along the way. A lot of losses that kind of made me feel very salty, but in doing so, that's where it comes. It just, really and truly, it was fun overall. I enjoyed myself. It was good memories in my childhood.
I'm gonna mention some feds some we didn't mention during the talk we just had, and also some new feds that you may have seen or may not have seen. I guess we'll start off with the feds that we didn't talk about. What about VDW by Undying Damien?
VDW. Okay, I like this one. Okay, so where it started was obviously there would be shows, or I think CCW was on. I can't remember. I think CCW was on hiatus at the time. So there was only UKW, but it was on like not a weekly basis, like a every couple months basis.
Oh yeah.
So we were looking at it and we were like, okay, so what's around? And we've seen this federation called VDW, and I was like, okay, let's check this federation. And I went in there and I was in such shock. And I was looking to myself and I was like, I like the aesthetics of the federation. I like the way Damien's put the arena together. I don't know what it is about it. I can't put it into words, but I am in awe. It's so amazing. It looks good. Everything, I don't know what it was. It just gave me a different vibe. And then I went to Damien and I was like, I want to join your federation. I want to be a part of it. I think a big thing about federations is only the roster that you have, because to get the roster that you get, you need to attract. And how do you attract? It depends on the GFX, your arena, the vibes that you give off, management as well. It is a lot of things, but to me, one of the things that highlighted it for me was how the federation looked overall. I felt a different vibe and I was like, I wanted to be a part of it. Give me a little run. I'm going to make a name for myself. And then when I'm ready, give me a championship shot. I don't want it yet. I need to build up my momentum. As it should be. I hope that... I believe that's the best way to improve, is to build your momentum. And then when you go on a run that you feel as though you feel unstoppable, you feel like a big threat, that's why you tell yourself, okay, let me solidify this by going for a championship. And that's what I did. I won their world championship, and at the time I became the longest reigning for about 3-4 months or something like that. I've had some fun matches, and I've met people that were really good people. They were fun, they were good vibes. Obscene Catalyst, he was a good guy. I met Jesus Christ, I've met so many people I can't even put into names. Because at the time it was me holding the World Heavyweight Championship, or it was the World Demolition, to be exact. And Obscene Catalyst was the VDW champion, and he was one of the favorites because of storyline purposes, the way he looked. You kind of got a Seth Rollins vibe from him. And this was around the time that Seth Rollins was, I suppose, in his big prime with the WWE Championship. So people loved him. I was a fan of him. And he was a good guy overall. We had fun. Yeah, it was really good. There was good storylines, good people. Rudy, MG Styles, Boss Raymondo. I remember Butch and AJ. They were really good fighters. Sorry, there's a couple names that I'm getting, probably because they're not around though. So I stopped hearing about them.
I just saw them off the slideshow. You'll probably have a lot to say, but Carbon Carnage.
Carbon. That's good. Basically, that was when people started to know Carbon Carnage. He was a big threat. His skill amounted to half of why he was a threat, but at the same time, and this was kind of out of his control, but he had to have a VPN because of, I can't remember what exactly it was, but it was a network
I think
issue.
it was like Roblox was like banned in his country, I believe.
Yeah, it was banned in his country, so it was, in order for him to compete, he had to sacrifice that, because I think VPNs back then was seen as cheat code to a degree, but you can't really do much about it if it's beyond your power and you need it. So with him, he was a very, very big threat. I think at the time when I was doing a little run in DXW, he threw me off for the World Championship. And he had an amazing run. He wanted the win more than I did. Props to him. He was, to the few GMT wrestlers that gave people like Eddie Slayer or Brutal Damon work, or KB Orton in JHW as well, was very, very powerful. I don't think it's talked about enough how powerful he was. Like, when you hear his theme, for the likes of me, I guess, Boss Raymondo, we had to put effort into fighting. That's how good it was.
Damn. There's also, alright, back to Feds. I don't think many people are going to remember this, but I did put in the slideshow because I did remember this Fed.
Mm-hmm.
It was APW by Alex. What do you guys think?
Oh, wow. Yes. Okay, so with APW, because it's been so long ago, I can't exactly remember what's happened. Why I liked APW was Alex was able to bring in people that you'd think it doesn't make sense to bring them in, but it's still an amazing job, regardless. You manage to get these names in, you're going to attract an audience. So the likes of Finn Balor, Eddie Slayer, Brutal Damon, I think, came in. And there was a whole tournament going for the World Championship, and I think Aiden was there as well. And there was a triple threat, me, Aiden, and another individual who I can't remember. But again, the match was so intense, I didn't think I was going to win. Ended up winning, surprisingly. And honestly, it was one of my favorite federations because the competition was so high stat. It gave you a reason, okay, so there's multiple threats. There's no one that I can just walk through. I actually have to focus. Sit up on my chair. Then I ended up getting the win. And yeah, it was a fun federation, honestly.
There's one more Fed that we didn't discuss because I know you've been to it because it's like on your profile on Roblox. Okay. You had like the wins there or something. It was okay. WRWF, but I don't know who the owner was.
WRWF. Oh, okay. Okay, so there was one match there. Me and Balor versus Brutal Damon and Eddie Slayer. And with this match, it was really good because it was like the first time where I beat them, or we beat them, I suppose, in their respective primes, where they were like shooting across federations, walking through people. And you think, okay, I'm up against these guys. There's no way in hell I'm supposed to win because these guys are invincible. They were invincible at the time. But surprisingly, I think there was a fall when Rudy got eliminated and it was just me on my own. I had no faith. I thought I was going to lose. I ended up winning. I don't know. Even sometimes I think about it and I'm like, how the hell did I win that match? I had no form. I had a shit PC. I was just doing anything. I was just swinging my mouse and I won. And with the World Championship match, forgot who it was that I fought, but he was a high carder. And it was a really good match, but I ended up winning in the end. And again, it's just one of those ones where it's like some people that they don't know you and they see these names and you hear about it, it's like, okay, let me go watch. And then you see that performance and it's like, okay, this guy is the real deal. He's really good. And even, yeah, really, truly, just really competitive. Another underground federation that was really competitive. They somehow managed to get all these people to come in and fight. It was fun, very fun. Honestly, I would recommend it if it was still around.
Yeah, I don't think it's still around, but I wish it was because that would be really nice.
Yep.
This one I feel like is a big one for most GMT legends. XEW by Rudy.
Woo! Okay. Okay, Rudy's federation. That federation was kind of where things started up again for me. Because there was a time where there was just underground federations. I was winning belts, but it didn't feel satisfying. Like, it weren't big wins. And then when XEW came, it was like the competition was stacked up. Winning world championships was a real accolade because you didn't necessarily get easy wins. You had to fight. And when I say fight, there were some GMT legends at the time that was there that were really overpowered. I think I can't remember their names. That's how long ago it's been. But I ended up winning both their world championships.
Oh, wow.
And wow, there was so much that happened in that federation. It's so hard to remember. Rudy, you'd think that, oh, Rudy was hosting a federation? Yeah, he was a very good host. Like, it was very enjoyable. He was good at what he did. He knew how to book matches. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you knew this, you might have knew it, but sometime after you left, after UKW Mania 5, he brought it back, but it wasn't an active thing. It was like how UKW was when they had like monthly, bi-monthly events. He did
Yeah. Okay.
by the time the second pay-per-view was, the first pay-per-view they had Kids versus Raymundo, which apparently was a big ending to a rivalry. And then I think it was the second or third pay-per-view they had, they crowned a world champion, which ended up being Damon, and then that never changed.
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then, so let's talk about new feds then. Well, I don't know if you've heard of any of these feds, but hopefully you did. But I'm gonna start with the one that's big right now, EWF by Julius.
EWF, I think I'm familiar with EWF. So what it is obviously sometimes I'll come on my Twitter and I would see it around, or if I'm on Roblox just looking around for a game to play to pass time, I would see people there. I've not heard too much about EWF, but it is one of the main runners of the GMT Federation. Not sure if he's in this podcast. I think he is. I saw in the chat. But
he said you're a former world champion. So this fed isn't new. Like it was back in.
Oh yeah.
Alex
Forgive me, I'm
Montero
so sorry.
was the older
My
one.
memory is so bad. My memory is so
I forgot
bad.
about it too. I'm not gonna lie. I forgot it was old, but
Yeah, you need to forgive me.
But back then it was Alex Montero who owned it.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Now I remember. Now he was the old owner. In terms of where it is now, it's very capable of growing, being big. I think the only reason why it's not shooting up right now is because there's not. I read a thread the other day in terms of talking about how Fed owners should invest in younger prospects, train them up, teach them different things to be big names instead of, I suppose, the big names already, because then it gives more time to develop a roster, bring up new names that I suppose would forge and mold wherever. So with EWF, I feel as though their biggest problem, which at the end of the day, it isn't their fault. But then why I say that is, it's not your fault because there's still much to learn. You know, you're still coming up, you're up and running. I'd say you're at where Damien was in his first year. I suppose understanding from someone that has done it all, where to go, what to do with certain people, how to develop characters, which, of course, I'm open to talking about whenever I'm available. Just pop me a DM.
It's kind of hard to pop you a DM, but Twitter.
Yeah. I think I might have done something with my Twitter settings, but I'll need to look into that and see if I can tweak it. But in terms of developing younger people, I can give a little insight in terms of what I did with myself before I started doing the gimmick that I did. So before I introduced the Grim Reaper gimmick, I used to have a CM Punk gimmick, as everyone did, because he's a big name. Where I started was, I was just looking on Pinterest and I was like, okay, let me look at different characters that I like. where it came from was the Marvel character Ghost Rider.
Oh.
And that was where the Grim Reaper came from. And if you know the Ghost Rider, you kind of get where it comes in terms of my gimmick. I wanted to be a symbol where it was like the moment you hear my theme, there was trouble coming. I came to win. I came to beat someone. If you can beat me, that is like beating a boss battle in a game like Sekiro.
I feel like GMT, you're the final boss.
Yeah, to a degree, yeah. The main heads in GMT, I suppose, in terms of consistency or overall, was Carb, Boss, Raymond. I said Boss already. Clutcher, I forgot about Clutcher, he's not here no more. MG, Rudy, there's someone else that I missed. Justin Black, that's another name that I forgot about. I remember he took the CCW title off of me when it did its little run. I was so salty that day. But then, it's one of those ones where it's like, if someone wants to win more than you, because they'll beat you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in terms of development, you should look into things that you like, characters that you like, someone that I suppose, don't try and be like the Brutal Damons or the Eddie Slayers or the Isaac Mercuries or the Invictus Diddies or the Rudy Ballas or the MG Styles. Look into yourself and ask yourself, what do I like? What characters do I like? What is it that I like about him? What outfits do I like on them? Look at concept art. Look at logos. How do you see yourself? What kind of a person are you? Like, there's a lot of things you need to look into. Because obviously, it's nice to have a nice attire, but if your gimmick don't make sense, it's not going to help you. Your gimmick has to make sense with your fighting style, what you were doing at the time, what kind of a name you are. So I picked the Grim Reaper because obviously the Grim Reaper collects souls. He collects, well, in my case, I was collecting world title, so it seemed fitting at the time. And then obviously over time I started developing that character. I think, although it was a very bad movie, I liked the introduction of Batman vs Superman with Batman. And it was kind of like, he was a threat that I guess put fear into people. And he left symbols around. My symbol was my flaming skull. But sometimes I had the bat signal as well. And as you develop your character, you develop your attires, it kind of makes sense. You look different, you have your own image, you have your own genre. No, your gimmick is up there when you see people come up to you and they'd be like, oh, this person took your attire, or this person has your look. Oh, he's just another Invictus Diddy, or he's another Eddie Slayer, he's another Brutal Damon, he's another Boss Raymondo. That's how you know. It's all about creativity. How do you describe yourself? Don't try and match that next person that's winning world title just because you want to be there. There is a way of doing that. One of my favorite gimmicks, I couldn't understand it properly to put into words, but I just liked it. Justice League. Very simple, not too much into it, not too little either, but it was just about so interesting. Aesthetically, I liked it. I liked his gimmick. And then he had a good theme that kind of matched it. His persona. The lion logo. Oh, it was so amazing. It was good. It was really good. TM Punk, for another example. I have never seen anyone else do a Punk gimmick better than him. Not only because CM Punk is considered the best in the world, but then you had TM Punk, who was really good. Like, if you fought him, he backed his talk up to the extent where he would talk shit about you and win, and he would humble you quickly.
Wow.
And he had the confidence to back it up. He didn't have a solid custom gimmick. He just had an existing one, but he made it look really good. You might as well say that's his gimmick now. It's no longer CM Punk's gimmick. That's how good he was.
Right. I guess the next Fed, I gotta do a cheeky little thing.
Go on.
RDW by yours truly. I know you've been there before. I don't know if you remember. You were just there to visit. It was
I
RDW.
believe I was. I'm familiar with the name. Do you know what it is? Because I don't have on my friends list, obviously, because you can see where your friends are or what places they're visiting. And obviously, most of my friends are vets or people that
I
don't
believe
even
you
play the
joined
game no
off of
more.
Alex or Ray because they were there as well.
Yeah, they were there. So that's when I saw, oh, look, there's a new federation. It's GMT. Let's have a look. Um, it looked promising. There's work to be done, but from where it is right now, it's good. Obviously, there's things out of your control, like having a solid roster because not many people are there. Um, there is a way to tackle that, as I said. It's just a matter of looking into helping people individually, finding a blueprint of an existing person, and starting from the bottom in a unique way. What is it that about this person? Get to know your roster. That's another thing that I would say. When you get to know your roster, you'll be able to tell what it is that you can do, should push, who's the underdog, who would be an amazing heel, who I don't. There's a lot. There's so much that you can do, and I've seen so many people come from an underground federation, turn their federation upside down to be blossom into something amazing. Take APRW for an example, because there was at one point, despite having a very solid roster, it wasn't talked about enough as it should have been until there was other areas that were patched up. Aesthetically, it started looking more pleasing. Competitively, it started taking it up another level. It was amazing. The transition was beautiful, honestly. With RDW, I suppose it's just asking questions, looking at things in the past. I suppose looking into how did they take off? What is it about them that I don't have, that I can't control? The roster, I suppose, is in a way it's out of your control. Obviously, like I said, you can look into your roster, get to know your roster, look into who you can develop, and then eventually everyone else will blossom. But yeah.
I don't. This is I know Tam's heard of this one from the last podcast. I asked him about it. Progress by Packer P.
I've heard of Progress. I've not heard too much about it. I attend Federation. Obviously, I've known Packer B since, I believe he was around since before the start of UKW. He's a cool guy.
He's the first ever DXW champion.
Yeah, he was. I remember that, actually. What happened? I'm not too sure. I've not paid attention to his federation enough to give an input. But overall, he's a cool guy.
Speaking of DXW, let's talk about that because I don't know why that always slips my mind. What about DXW?
So DXW, I'm assuming they're still doing the run now. I think they are.
They're doing shows, but sometimes they go on hiatus because Richie gets busy. But yeah,
Like,
they're still around.
Yeah.
They're still around until November or December, though. At that point, they're ending.
Okay. So with DXW, I don't even know if this is strong, but I have a love-hate relationship with DXW. But if I could find the word, I would replace it with hate because hate is a strong word.
Dislike.
With DXW, it's kind of like there was a point in time where they were quite up there along with UKW and CCW in terms of attendance, show quality, roster. They had a pretty good run. Psycho and Social was one of the longest reigning, not the longest reigning world heavyweight champion. He had a pretty good run along with some other people. Where the hate comes in, however, and this is probably out of his control, but a part of me feels as though with things that are going on in RDN's life, I suppose he struggles to find a balance of control over the federation, because obviously we're playing a game with kids and they are going to give you a hard time. You're doing the best that you can. It may be slow from time to time. People may not be happy or they may not be satisfied with the booking, but you're doing your best. And honestly, no one can complain about that. And the worst thing that you can do is beat yourself up about it. Don't let that happen. Don't let anyone talk down on you. You know what you have done. You're not the greatest, but you have put in the work. And it is visible to the people that have been there through it. I've seen it. I've not had that much success, but it was still a good federation. There is work to be done. I believe that he can do it, obviously in his own time, because life happens, you know. It humbles people, it takes you out of it, that you need to sort yourself out. But as a person, he is a good guy. I do enjoy talking to him from time to time. Did get harassed to do a run, as with anyone else. But again, it comes from a place of trying to make a name for yourself. That's what everyone's trying to do, to be honest. But overall, DXW is a good federation. I think everyone here should give it a chance. Give him a chance. I should also think that he should, suppose, find a way to be open to criticism, but it also matters in terms of how the criticism is delivered. Because I have seen it being delivered, but it wasn't to the extent where it was like, this could have been worded properly. I don't blame you. Obviously, everyone makes mistakes. But, it can... I believe in him. I believe his time will come.
Right. So this, I don't know if you'll know about this Fed. Auxiliary Josh said, did Diddy ever go to a Fed called TDW? The Fed owner was Glitchgoat.
No. Wait, I think I did. Glitchgoat, I remember the name. As soon as you said the name, I remembered the name. I attended maybe 1 or 2 shows. It was an alright federation, I liked it. Aesthetically, it was very good. I speak about aesthetics a lot because, for me, in order to attract an audience, to look good. Your federation needs to look good. Do your titles look good? Are they shaped nicely? Is the mesh good? Are the arenas good? Are the logos? Are you good at GFX? Do you have a GFX that you can hire? Or work with people? It's about networking, meeting people, all these things. There's different variables to level yourself up. But this is briefly speaking from a person who I suppose has never hosted, but being around Fed owners, you get the idea of, I suppose, how it works a little bit. Obviously, they have a better idea. You guys have a better idea of how it works and what you go through. But yeah, it was an alright federation. I liked it.
So we had supposedly, to most people, the best 2021 GMT wrestler retire recently. What do you think about him? His name is Ryan Mega. I'm sure you know about him.
Ryan Mega.
Personally, he's one of my best friends, but yeah.
I've heard of him because when I was talking to some people, I think it was Giordano I was talking to, I was asking him, so who's the biggest name right now? His name came up. Somebody, Walsh, right? I think his name is Ryan
Walsh. Yes, Walsh is also a good one.
He came up. And some other people came up as well.
The only thing with Walsh is he goes to EST Feds more than GMT Feds, but he is GMT.
That's understandable. I think there was an EST wrestler that attended GMT Feds more. Norbs Lesnar. Oh, I hated that guy. He's a good friend, I love him, but I hate fighting him. In terms of those names that you've mentioned, obviously, I've not seen them fight, but obviously you get an idea of who they are from what you hear. And if I ask who's the best right now and your name comes up, you can quite imagine what it's like. You hear names through the years like Clutcher, Diddy, Rudy, MG, without seeing them, and you're like, okay, so these guys are good. And then when you see it, you kind of see that their actions are kind of backed up by it. It's like, okay, this guy's really good. Obviously, I haven't been around that much or seen any highlights, which I do recommend federations do because it helps get your name out there. Streaming it on YouTube or get hire Kiri. I believe Kiri Curry is his name. Yeah. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Hire someone, find a way, ask questions, learn different things. You know, anything to get your name out there. I suppose it depends on what you're trying to do, but there is a way.
Let's see. There was another guy. I'm trying to remember his name. It was after this. I'm gonna ask a different question, but oh yeah, I've talked to him a little bit, but I haven't really talked to him. He's mainly from DXW. Nathan Downing.
Yes,
Nathan.
Nathan.
I know he's an RPL now. Or yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people switched over to that. I would have done it, but at the time I didn't do it, and then obviously as everything kicked off, it was kind of like I would start from the bottom. There wasn't really any motivation, but I remember Nate Downing.
Okay, so next thing, what is this new hairstyle? Who gave you the idea to make the new hairstyle?
I
literally the old one.
TK came to me and he was like, for a render, you should try and look for something new. And I'm like, okay. Because it's such an iconic hairstyle, the fact that I have to change it just irritates me. So I went and on, I suppose, a little voyage searching, and it was kind of like, okay, so I found something, let me try this out, and it ended up looking better than I thought it did, and yeah.
Oh wow. Let's see, does anybody in the chat have any questions besides somebody said Undead Brock versus Diddy versus Finn Balor. I don't know who that is, but maybe you do.
That
VCW.
That is Aloni Omega. His name is now.
Shoot. Whoops.
Yeah.
Nah,
don't worry about it. That was a very good match. It was quite unfortunate because the rules were quite different back then. So it was a triple threat, but the rules were if you tied, you were out, and whoever was alive won. And that was kind of how the match went. Me and Aloni tied, making Brock the VCW champion.
Oh wow. Oh, Shawn McIntyre. Thoughts on him?
Do you know what it is? He's like CM Punk. He was one of the few people that were like very, like they had it wasn't a custom gimmick, but you made the gimmick look good regardless. He's a very, very powerful, quite intimidating to fight. He beat me, I think, at a show. It's on YouTube somewhere. I can't remember. But yeah, he's cool. I like talking to him once in a while. He's a cool guy.
Oh, this is a good one. Exility Josh says, which competition was harder, old gen or current gen? Obviously, you don't know much about current gen because you're not fighting in it all actively, but...
that is a good question. Oh boy. When you say new gen, starting from what?
Oh, current.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Current year.
Like not new gen, but like current gen. I don't know.
I'm gonna say old gen only because there was more people that brought in more competition, or there was like more numbers. That's the best way to put it. With this one right now, there are good people, but there's not much to the extent where it's overwhelming. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
There's not to deny that the current gen is not a pushover. They're definitely not pushovers from what I've seen.
A lot of the competition has left. The old gen ones, I mean. And even
Yeah,
the new gen competition are leaving, the good ones. It's like...
Yeah, because it's kind of like... There's not much that's happening in terms of events. Like, you'd see, oh, look, there's a big event, Showtime's happening. RWA's hosting a pay-per-view, or whatever it may be. And you'd get excited because you'd see all these names, but it's like... You don't get that right now. I suppose there's a way to go around it. Maybe Pro Wrestlers Sport Federation.
Right.
Like I said, Finn Fed owners could work on their rosters, try and experiment different things, different ideas, see what they can do to elevate people. I don't know. There's a lot you can do, to be honest with you. It just takes time, really and truly.
There's two good questions here. The first one, wait, where'd it go? Oh, will we see Prime Diddy again?
I mean, I do have a better setup now, which does take some getting used to. Because while I was at uni, I was playing Battlefield 5 and Warzone on my PC. Because my biggest setback back then was kind of like frame and ping. Obviously, that's not an issue now. So, who knows? We might...
training, we saw you still got it in that CCW match with Ray and MG.
Yeah, it was unfortunate because I had initially... I got very overwhelmed in that match where I kind of like... I've not felt like this in so long. Everyone cheering, everyone so pumped and hyped up. It was something to get used to again, so it kind of threw me off. But overall, she won the match, then retired. Shout out to him. Poor guy. But in terms of your question, we might see it, because the pattern with me is when, I suppose, an event comes closer, and I'm feeling the momentum and the fire within me. That's kind of where I start doing better unconsciously.
The other one is, this is a really good one. Where did the name Invictus Diddy come from?
Again, it's down to how there was a trend back then where people picked names based upon who they thought they were and how they backed it up. And at the time, before I started expanding out to EST federations, the name Invictus is Latin for unconquerable. And that's kind of what I was back then, until the competition started elevating themselves. I was unconquerable at one point. I barely lost a match in federations. I was the few people that could one-shot people with green HP, swing god, whatever they call it nowadays. I did everything, to be honest. So that's where the name Invictus comes from. But the name Diddy, when I first joined, I was listening to P. Diddy and I had it on loop. And when I got introduced to Roblox by a neighbor in 2011, 2010, something like that. And I was playing Base Wars, and then I just picked the name Diddy01, and then that's kind of where it came together.
Damn, P. Diddy.
Yeah, it's funny now that I think about it.
Let's see. What Diddy versus Justin Black? Ken versus Diddy. Has that ever happened, and you think it'll happen soon?
I haven't fought Prime Ken in terms of where he is now, but I did fight him not a couple days, a while back. What it was he was the few guys who used to compliment me. He would be like, "You are retired, but you would come out of your day, be in a call with us, train, and still put in the work." And this was before I upgraded my PC as well. So overall, I've seen him, I fought him at his best and I fought him at his worst. He is a threat now, and he'd probably mop the floor with where I am now. That's just me being hard on myself, probably, but yeah, he's a very good, very competitive, big threat.
Let's see. Oh, this is a good one. Ask him about him versus Dawn in Winter Wonderland for RWA title.
That boy mocked me on the floor, so you don't know. Don Morrison, when you fight Don, it looks like he's so good, but he fights with little effort. And you try to copy him, let's say you're in the gym one day. Oh, let me do what Don Morrison... You can't do it! And it doesn't make sense. Every time I see him fight, I used to get irritated. So I would be like, how does this make sense? How do you do so well with so little effort? So I was RWA champion at the time, and I was fighting him. And from what I knew of him, it was like, I don't expect myself to win. And I actually was right. I didn't win that match. He took the belt off me, I think 3-2, 5-2, 5-3. Stuff. It was a really, really tense fight. He's really good of a wrestler. Obviously, he's been having some complications, I think, with his ping. But in terms of how he is as a wrestler, he is up there in terms of performance. You don't really see many people fighting effortlessly like him.
No, you're good, Kinder Nugget. This wasn't asked. It's what was your favorite storyline you've been in and why?
Question. There's been a few. If I had to pick one, it would probably be me versus Brock. UKW Mania 2.
Oh wow.
There wasn't really much put into it, however, like in terms of where there will be lots of storylines, videos, GFX. Back then we didn't really have that. It was just a poster and that was it. People would talk about it. If you came to watch that person's match, that will kind of set the tone running up into the thing. I liked it because it was kind of like I was proclaimed king of GMT and he was king of EST, so it was kind of like GMT king versus EST king. It was kind of like how would you even describe it? It was amazing, honestly.
And yeah, you won that match, right? I think we talked about
I did. Yeah, I think it was 3-2.
Oh wow. Oh yeah, because back then world title matches were first to 3 a lot, right?
Yeah, or 2 out of 3 falls.
Right. Yeah. Let's see what we got here. Loving this podcast, bringing back so many memories. Thank you, Evo. Shino, do you remember him?
I do remember him. Hello, Sean.
I don't know if we went over this yet. Did we talk about your thoughts on facing Isaac in December?
We did go through it at the start, but I can go through it again. So, in more depth. So, again, he is a threat. He's gonna be quite difficult, no doubt about that. I am looking forward to it, and Jesus, I don't even know what to say. It's just a big match overall. Yeah, I'm just looking forward to it. It looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm currently working on tires. Not sure if I'll make a new one or just customize my original because I really love my original. But yeah, overall, I'm excited.
So we have 2 questions. I'll do these last 2. One by Josh, or Exility Josh, and one by IWF Network. The
Okay.
IWF Network is what do you think about UKW Mania when you fought Noah Jackson?
I was nervous. I will admit I was nervous because my desire to make a name for myself was at an all-time high. I needed to win. He was very capable of ruining my dreams, and I did not want to let that happen. I needed to be final UKW champion. So, we fought. It was very tense, and I think there was at one point where my hand froze because I was so self-conscious, trying not to make a mistake. And then I had to take a breather when I lost one of the falls. He knocked me out pretty good as well. But my hunger to win just completely destroyed everything. I needed to win. I didn't care about anything else. It was only that. It was only the title I needed, and that was it.
Okay, this are two more questions because there's another one that came up, which is a really good. Which match were you most nervous about in your career?
Me versus Undead Brock World Heavyweight Championship at RWU was probably one of, if not the most nervous match for me, because it was around the time when I first got introduced to EST Feds and people were behind my back. I guess I was the underdog that kept letting people down because I was extremely nervous. And when I say nervous, I mean you forget to move your mouse, swing at someone, but you process it in your head type of nervousness, but you just don't act. Like the impulse just doesn't happen type of nervous. I was sweating, and when I lost, I felt really bad. Felt like I disappointed a lot of people. It really hit me. I mean, at the end of the day, it is a game, but when you're passionate about something, this is what happens, isn't it? And you enjoy yourself, you become passionate. Yeah.
Right. This is the last one, Kinder Nugget. If you could come back and have the opportunity to fight a rising star of recent times, who would it be if you know anyone?
That's a good question because there's so many people. Hypothetically speaking, if I wake up one day and I'm like,
Huh?
What'd you say?
Oh, I said if you want, you can name multiple.
So, Justice League is one. I haven't fought him before. Isaac's happening in December. Ryan, maybe. I feel as though he needs a little bit more development, and that's kind of like a final boss type thing. That will probably
Also,
make sense.
Two things is he really wants to fight you,
I can tell.
and he's retired, so you know.
Oh. Well, if he does want to, I don't know. Maybe something
I'm sure
can be
he'll do
talked
it
about.
if it's like a one-time thing with you, but I don't know.
Something can be talked about, and if it makes sense, you can talk to TK. He's a good organizer. You can sort something out, or you can give some advice to lead him into that journey. Because sometimes it takes someone's needing more development in order to, okay, I think you're ready for this fight. Not in terms of fighting style, but in terms of your character and your gimmick and where you are in terms of the construct of the community. High card, low card, mid card, type of thing. I don't know him too well to say if that's the right answer for that. But yeah, him. Walsh, I've heard a lot about. Available. Jesus, I don't even know. There's so many more names that I just can't say off. I'd actually need to sit down and think about it. But yeah.
There was one I thought about. I'm trying to remember. Have you ever fought? What's his name? Oh, there's another one. Not many people are gonna agree with this, but I do.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard of him. He won GMT World Title recently, and it was a big one. It was at XRW. Lumi, Long Live Lumi, or Lumi Orton. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Lumi Orton, I'm not familiar with who he is.
He actually beat. It was a fatal four-way. He beat Walsh, Ryan, and Taylor Brooks, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not to say that it can't happen. Obviously, it just depends on the situation, where I am in terms of availability, where he is, but it's possible. It can happen. It just depends on those factors, really and truly. Obviously, I'm not giving a clear yes, I will do it answer, because I'll probably say, yeah, I can do it, and then the next thing you know, I'm busy as hell, and then you just never hear from me again for like a year or two.
Chris Apoth is another good one.
I've heard of him. He's been about for quite a bit. I remember seeing him every once in a while, and I know now that he's pretty good now.
He's a former RWA champion himself.
Yeah, I remember that match. And I was told, and I was like, wait, Chris Apoff, the one that used to be a mid-card, that used to just be a filler, he won the RWA World title. That must mean he made a massive improvement.
And he beat
because What?
Yeah, it was Ken.
Well, you know what I mean. So it's like winning the RWA World title kind of signifies you as, okay, I can do this because it is a big title.
Okay. No, all right, we're done here. Somebody just asked Exility Josh versus Invictus Diddy. Okay, we're done. Well, thank you for coming on, Diddy. This was an amazing experience. I love talking with you. This was funny as fuck.
Thank you.
As fuck.
Thank you for having me.
I'm gonna say this right now. The next episode is gonna be I almost just said Diddy again. Trunks and Austin Chambers, the RPW owners. Do you remember RPW?
Yes, I do. I do remember.
That's really doing really good now.
Trunks is what he's doing with that federation and the management as well. Amazing. You guys should check it out if you haven't already.
And also, before we end, IWA Bound for Glory in 30 minutes as well. I have to get it set up for that, which is why I'm ending it right now. And basically, yeah, thank you for coming on, and we'll see you.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, man. I feel like it was a good time because of showtime and all that, but yeah. See you guys later.
No problem.
Bye. Oh, right. I have to end it with this. Alex says this all the time. Don't smoke, don't drink, stay in school, and eat weed. Okay, bye.